So let's take a closer look at modern Russia. It's a country of absolutely incredible scale and complexity. We hear about it in the news all the time, but what's it really like? Well, we're about to dive in. First things first, you just have to get your head around how unbelievably massive Russia is. I mean, it is the largest country on Earth by a long shot, covering over 6.6 million square miles. To put that in perspective, that's nearly double the size of the United States or Canada. So the question is, how do you even begin to understand a country that big? Well, a great place to start is with the land itself. Yeah, Russia is a truly giant nation. It's so vast that it actually stretches across two different continents, Europe and Asia, and covers an incredible 11 time zones. Just think about that. When it's breakfast time on one side of the country, people on the other side are getting ready for bed. And check out some of these geographic facts. Russia borders 14 different countries and has coastlines on 3 oceans, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. You have the Ural Mountains acting as this natural dividing line between the European and Asian parts, and what's really interesting is that even with all that space, most of the population actually lives in the much smaller Western European section. Now, you can't talk about Russia's landscape without talking about the taiga. So what is it? It's this enormous, dense forest belt, mostly made up of trees like pines and firs, and it covers a gigantic part of the country, especially that famous, vast region we call Siberia. Okay, so that's the geography. But to really get a handle on Russia today, you have to look back at a really pivotal moment in its recent history, the end of the Soviet Union. This is all about how it's been forging a new path. So, it all kicks off in 1991. The powerful Soviet Union dissolves, and the modern country of Russia is born from it. But that transition wasn't easy. The 1990s were a really tough decade, a time of difficult economic changes and real hardship for a lot of people. Then, by 1999, new leadership came in with the big goal of bringing back stability. So, how did Russia rebuild its economy? Well, a huge part of the answer lies right under the ground. Russia's massive size comes with a massive advantage, an incredible amount of natural resources. And these resources, especially energy, are basically the engine of its economy. To put it simply, Russia's economic power is built on this fact. It possesses some of the world's absolute largest reserves of oil and natural gas. This chart really puts it into perspective. Just look at that. Energy exports, selling oil and gas to other countries, make up a whopping 60% of all its exports. That heavy reliance has a huge impact on the country's wealth and, of course, its role in the world. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture, the geography, the economy, but what's daily life actually like for the people who live there? Let's zoom in a bit on the cities, the schools, and the culture. Well, for one thing, big cities like the capital, Moscow, have gone through these huge transformations. You'll see these ancient, beautiful cathedrals standing right next to gleaming, super modern skyscrapers. It's become a true global city, where the old and the new are constantly mixing. Education is a really big deal in Russian society. Schooling is required for 11 years, and there's a long tradition of excellence in subjects like math and science. And get this, the first day of school, September 1st, is actually a national holiday called the Day of Knowledge. Pretty cool, right? You know, something that might surprise you is that the biggest holiday of the year isn't Christmas, it's New Year's Eve. That's the main event, with big family gatherings and decorated trees. Orthodox Christmas is also a very important religious holiday, but it's celebrated later on January 7th. All right, for our final section, let's zoom back out and look at Russia's challenges and its role on the global stage. I mean, given its history and all those resources, what are the big challenges it faces, and where does it fit in the world today? Well, Russia has this amazing legacy in science and technology, especially when it comes to space. This was the country that sent the very first human into orbit, and it's still a crucial partner in the International Space Station today. So, how do you even get around a country this big? The most famous way, of course, is the Trans-Siberian Railway. It's the longest single train line in the world. But to reach those really remote places, especially up in the frozen north, airplanes are absolutely essential. Now, here's a unique environmental challenge for Russia, something called permafrost. This is ground that is literally frozen solid all year round. The problem is, as the planet gets warmer, this permafrost is starting to melt, and that can cause huge problems for the buildings and pipelines that were built right on top of it.
So, when you put it all together, its size, its resources, its military, it's clear why Russia plays such a major role in world affairs. It holds a permanent seat on the UN Security Council, which makes it one of the most powerful countries in global decision making. And, of course, its energy supplies are vital to many other nations in Europe and Asia.
And that really leaves us with a final big question to think about. For a nation with such a unique history and all those vast resources, what does the future hold? How is it going to continue to shape its own path and the world around it?